The male protagonist with modern medical knowledge is reincarnated into another world where science and technology are very backward. Fortunately, he becomes famous and earns a lot of money in another world thanks to his medical knowledge. As a result, he has attracted beautiful girls of different races, among whom are his cute and charming maid and a female magician with a sexy body. Even the empress is impressed by his erudition and can't wait to pass the throne to him. How many harems such a charming male protagonist will have in another world? Like this video and subscribe to my channel. Let's start today's recap. The male protagonist, Pharma, is a pharmacist who has been studying medical knowledge and creating cures for cancers. After witnessing his sister's death from cancer in his childhood, he works obsessively and often stays up late. As a result, he dies from the chronic sleep deprivation and is reincarnated into another world. Then the scene changes to another world. Pharma wakes up and is shocked to find himself in an unfamiliar environment. He soon realizes that he has been reborn in another world. Prompted by his maid Charlotte, he learns his identity and the fact that he was stunned by lightning before waking up. To learn about the world, Pharma plays on the idea that he has amnesia and gets more information. There is a magic known as divine arts existing in this world. They will use magic to make medicines, and people who have magic can become nobles. These people are called the medicine master. His father is the chief court medicine master and has a very high status. His elder brother is studying at the top pharmacy school, and his younger sister is only 5 years old. The divine art bestowed upon this body's owner is water. However, Pharma doesn't know how to use the magic, and he is terrified to know that if he fails to use the magic, he will be deprived of noble status and be expelled from his home by his father, Bruno. Soon after, Pharma back to his room. Just then, he remembers the chemical equation of water in his mind. Surprisingly, a large amount of water suddenly appears in his hands, which shows that he can use magic. He then creates many rare elements with the same method. Soon, he realizes that he can summon all the elements of the periodic table and use other kinds of magic in addition to water. Meanwhile, his left hand can create items while his right hand can eliminate them. Unfortunately, although he can use magic now, he faces another challenge. Bruno will ask him a question about pharmacy every day, and Pharma will be punished if giving the wrong answer. He immediately goes to the family's library. Luckily, he finds that the world's pharmaceutical knowledge is similar to last century's on Earth, which is very easy for him. As a result, with his superb medical skills, Pharma answers the questions very easily. After then, he prepares to learn magic from Eleanor. Eleanor is Bruno's student who has a plump figure. Learning of Pharma's amnesia, she decides to start from the basic principles of magic. The divine arts encompass earth, air, fire, water, and none, and each of them has positive and negative attributes. The positive attributes can make elements, while the negative ones can eliminate them. Pharma is very curious about the nun. Unfortunately, none has been extinct for 300 years, and even Eleanor does not know its specific abilities. Also, he is surprised to know that no one can summon all the elements, and the only one who can manage it is Panactheos, the god of medicine. Soon after, Eleanor is shocked by Pharma's strength. Pharma uses powerful water magic during combat training. However, each medicine master's total amount of mana is fixed, and when the mana is exhausted, they will lose their magical capacity. Worrying that Pharma has exhausted the mana, Eleanor immediately tests his magical capability. Strangely, Pharma's magical capacity has increased almost to infinity, and he can also use positive and negative attribute magic. At this time, she notices the tattoo on Pharma's arm, which is related to the god of medicine. Therefore, she becomes suspicious of Pharma's identity. In addition to these abilities, Pharma also possesses the divine eye that can detect all illnesses and injuries, and his body no longer casts a shadow. All of these are characters that only the god of medicine will have. Believing that Pharma has been possessed by a monster after being struck by lightning, Eleanor is very afraid and immediately flees back home. The next day, Bruno receives the sick leave request from Eleanor, so he asks Pharma to visit and sends medicine to her. Surprisingly, after learning about the efficacy of the medicine, Pharma immediately makes the one that works better. Arriving at Eleanor's home, Pharma finds her very defensive and even suspects the medicine he made is toxic. Pharma hurriedly explains the situation and Eleanor gradually lowers her vigilance. After then, Pharma gives her a bouquet, saying that he only wants to learn about magic and never has the idea of harming people. Finally, Eleanor chooses to trust him and continues working as his magic tutor. After returning home to practice with the divine eye, Pharma begins diagnosing the household servants and then creates medicines for them, which touches all the servants. He then knows that, in this society, people with magical abilities only serve royalty, and commoners cannot afford expensive medical treatment. Hearing this, Pharma decides to use his ability to make a change. Soon after, Pharma gets into trouble. His sister contracts chickenpox, which is a viral disease. However, people have no idea about virus in this world. Therefore, Pharma decides to advance the development of medicine in this world. After creating a treatment for his sister's illness, he also creates a pocket-sized Leeuwenhoek microscope. Just then, he receives the news that his father needs to go to the capital for emergency medical treatment of the empress, on the grounds that he needs more experience. Pharma asks for leading together. The empress's illness is so severe that all the medicine masters coming to see her cannot find out the cause. Bruno also takes the empress's blood and uses his ability to analyze the cause. He concludes that the empress's condition will soon be fatal, but to comfort the empress, he does not tell her the results. After discussing, the medicine masters decide to euthanize the empress the next day. Learning of their decision, Pharma secretly uses Divine Eye and diagnoses the empress with White Death. However, surgery hasn't been invented in this world, and neither does the medicine that can treat White Death. Euthanasia is the only way to free the empress. Pharma can't bear to see someone die from illness, but the medicine used to treat White Death is complex, which mixes up 4 different medicines to achieve better treatment. But Pharma doesn't give up, telling the empress that his new medicine will cure her. The people present are very surprised. They don't believe Pharma, a 10-year-old boy, can overcome the problem, and even Bruno thinks Pharma is messing around. The empress has long known the severity of her illness through the expressions of others. She chooses to trust Pharma because he can voluntarily take on this heavy responsibility when everyone else gives up. After getting permission, Pharma comes to the pharmacy room. He seals the door with the ice to prevent others from interrupting his experiments, just as he recalls the chemical equations of the medicines involved and creating treatments. His father breaks the door and interrupts him. Bruno angrily claims that no cure for White Death exists, and Pharma's behavior is equivalent to giving hope to a dying person and then pushing her back into the abyss. Pharma tells Bruno that he does have a treatment for White Death, and Bruno also needs to be treated in addition to the empress. He had long observed the abnormality of his father. It turns out that Bruno also suffers from White Death. Although feeling shocked, Bruno can't believe his son will create the treatment and thus interrupts Pharma. Pharma is so angry that he immediately uses his magic to create an ice wall. Meanwhile, based on the mysterious notes on the table and the powerful magical strength of Pharma, Bruno speculates his son is possessed by a monster. However, when he sees the tattoo on his son's arm, he realizes that the god of medicine has sent Pharma medicinal revelations, and leaves the room. After Pharma successfully creates the treatment, he goes to the empress's room with his microscope. He shows everyone the cause of the empress, which is something like a worm in her saliva, and everyone is shocked by the result. After then, he drinks up the treatment to prove its safety. The empress also believes in his medical skills. For the next 6 months, she takes Pharma's medicine on time. Soon after, the empress's illness is thoroughly cured. As a reward, she gives Bruno a new land and Pharma is promoted to Royal Medicine Master. Additionally, Pharma is also allowed to open a pharmacy in the capital. Soon, Pharma's pharmacy is built. Fearing that Pharma would slowly alienate her, Charlotte offers to be an errand girl at the pharmacy. Seeing through her concerns, Pharma agrees to her request. However, the pharmacy still requires someone to manage accounts and paperwork. Learning of this, Bruno transfers the family's financial director to the pharmacy. He also gives Pharma a fortune in gold to help get the pharmacy going. However, business is very bleak after the pharmacy is opened. It turns out that commoners used to go to the pharmacy opened by St. Flu Guild, while royalty invites the medicine master to their homes. As a result, Pharma's pharmacy does not conform to people's customs. Additionally, commoners are afraid of the deterrent power of Pharma's family and his status as the royal medicine master. To know customers better, Charlotte delivers questionnaires on the street and finds that people care most about the price of medicines, because all medicines in this world are very expensive. Hearing this, Pharma realizes he needs the right publicity strategy to make the business better. His mother suggests they sell some cosmetics. Many girls want fair and smooth skin, but no qualified beauty products are selling. As a result, girls often take harmful medicines, and even make skin paler by bloodletting. Just then, the pharmacy receives a customer. She is a noble who is in a coma due to excessive bloodletting. Pharma quickly prescribes the medicine to the customer and creates a non-toxic makeup. He then teaches the customer how to use the product. Soon, the cosmetics become popular among royalty. Meanwhile, Pharma also sends free samples of the cosmetics to commoners. As a result, more and more people are attracted to the pharmacy. After then, Pharma wants to relax by traveling, and he takes his sister to a beach. Looking at the beach, Pharma reminisces about his sister in his previous life, whose wish was to visit the beach. Unfortunately, she died of illness before she could fulfill the wish, which makes Pharma feel very sad. Just then, Pharma's current sister accidentally falls into the sea. Pharma immediately jumps into the sea and casts a spell to eliminate the seawater near his sister. Eleanor is surprised by his ability again since no one can eliminate seawater thoroughly in this world. Unfortunately, a witness informs the Holy Diocese, the religious organization of this world, of Pharma's ability. They regard Pharma as a heretic and decide to assassinate him. Soon after, priests of the Holy Diocese find Pharma and take him to a deserted field on the ground of medical treatment. The leader of the priests is Solomon. Believing Pharma to be an evil spirit in human guise, he casts a spell against evil spirits, but it does not harm Pharma, which proves that Pharma is a human. Still feeling suspicious of Pharma's identity, Solomon orders his fellow priests to attack Pharma. Enraged by their actions, after eliminating the attack, Pharma creates a huge iceberg to threaten them. At this time, Solomon realizes that Pharma seems to have infinite magical powers. He also notices the tattoo on Pharma's arm and his feature of no shadow, which are all characteristics only possessed by the god of medicine. Believing that Pharma is the reincarnation of the god of medicine, he immediately asks his fellow priests to kneel to apologize, and decides to commit suicide to atone for his sin. Pharma stops him. He doesn't want anyone to end his life easily. However, he soon realizes the severity of Solomon's injuries, which will soon be fatal without timely surgery. Therefore, he performs emergency surgery on Solomon. Seeing this, priests of the Holy Diocese reinforce Pharma's identity as the god of medicine. Back to the town, realizing the reveal of Pharma's identity would cause great panic, Solomon decides to keep the secret and conceal Pharma's information from the Holy Diocese. Additionally, he brings Pharma a gift, a divine staff used by the god of medicine. It not only can cast 4 basic attributes, but also gives the caster the ability to fly. However, it can only be held by God, while ordinary people cannot grasp it. Pharma is delighted with the gift. As time goes by, Pharma's business has become better and better, but this draws the envy of his peers. Because of Pharma, the pharmacies of St. Flu Guild are losing customers. As a result, they decide to defeat Pharma's pharmacy by radical means. Luckily, with the help of commoners, Pharma's pharmacy soon reopens. Enraged that his efforts to ruin Pharma have failed, the president of the guild forbids his members from contacting Pharma's pharmacy, and violators will be expelled from the guild. For members, the guild's approval is required to sell medicine, and expulsion from the guild is depriving members of their financial resources. The president's decision makes the situation even worse. The commoners have already accustomed to medicines made by Pharma, and they would not buy medicines from the guild. Pharma tries to supply his medicines to these pharmacies, but is always blocked by the president. As a result, he decides to find a new guild with other medicine stores. Soon after, he meets an opportunity. The daughter of a guild member has a high fever, but the guild's pharmacies all close due to business difficulties. Just as the man is worried, Pharma happens to pass by and encounters them. He then invites them to his pharmacy for treatment. After a short inner struggle, the man agrees. Soon after, the man is shocked by Pharma's superb medical skills, as well as the affordable prices of his pharmacy. He immediately realizes the gap between the guild and Pharma's pharmacy. After the recovery of his daughter, the man realizes that obeying the president's orders would only make the guild's situation worse and proposes to introduce Pharma's medicines. However, the president angrily rejects him and expels him from the guild, making him lose his job. Meanwhile, Pharma has registered a new guild. Learning of the man's situation, he immediately invites the man to join him. Therefore, the man becomes the first member of Pharma's guild, and helps to establish the branch of the pharmacy. In the end, he continues his work as a medicine master. With the increasing number of branches of Pharma's pharmacy, the living quality of the commoners has been greatly improved. Unfortunately, soon after, the Black Death breaks out, which will cause many deaths if not properly prevented. The St. Flu Festival is going to hold in the capital in 2 weeks. Therefore, Pharma must control the plague before the festival. He controls the capital's roads to prevent people and goods from the plague areas from entering the towns. Then, he creates more advanced microscopes and activates his ability to create treatments. After the capital's initial preparations are completed, Pharma's team goes to the area where the Black Death breaks out for checking the people and goods there. Although their work has been cooperated by most people, there is someone who thinks Pharma is too young to be the leader. They refuse to follow the arrangement and try to force their way into the area controlled by the state. Just then, a captain fires shells to stop them. It turns out that he is Pharma's old regular. It is Pharma's anti-scurvy sweets that allow him to continue trading by sea for a long time. In return, the captain decides to help Pharma so that people will cooperate with the epidemic prevention work. Just then, Pharma receives an urgent message that people have died of the Black Death in a nearby fishing village, and some people even want to flee the village. Pharma immediately flies to the village and intercepts the fleeing people. Then he casts the spell to isolate the entire village and enters there alone to treat the villagers. Meanwhile, the kingdom creates microbiology based on Pharma's microscope, which will greatly advance the development of the entire pharmaceutical industry. After the villagers are cured, Pharma realizes that the Black Death, as well as the Empress's White Death, seem to be man-made and are most likely caused by the same person. Soon after, something happens in the capital. 5 knights suddenly breach the capital's gates and release several squirrels carrying the Black Death into the city. The Empress immediately sends her subordinates to capture the knights. Soon, she learns their purpose. The chief culprit turns out to be Camus, who used to be Bruno's classmate. But contrary to Bruno, who commits to alleviating people's sufferings, Camus is addicted to studying harmful substances, and he even catches people for experiments. He was later captured by the Holy Diocese. They deprived him of magical abilities and banished him to a deserted land. Since then, Camus has always thought about avenging the kingdom with the poison he created. To achieve the goal, he threatened the knights with the lives of their families and forced them to spread the plague. Meanwhile, Camus has entered the city and come to Pharma's pharmacy. Charlotte tries to drive him away, but is poisoned by him and loses consciousness. Receiving the news, Pharma immediately returns to the capital and activates his ability to search for Camus. Soon, he finds Camus and he unites with his father to solve the incident. Bruno fights against Camus, while Pharma takes the time to purge the poison from Charlotte. Although Bruno is no match for Camus, Pharma has already completed his treatment of Charlotte when Camus overcomes Bruno. Seeing his father injured, Pharma is furious and immediately attacks Camus. He unleashes a punch at Camus, which is so powerful that Camus lost his mobility after being knocked down to the ground. Under Camus' desperate cry, Pharma kills him with the power of the staff. After then, Pharma throws himself into epidemic prevention. Soon after, he successfully creates antibiotics with researchers, and the outbreak is swiftly quelled. 2 months later, there are no more people infected with the Black Death in the capital. Pharma's pharmacy once again opens for business, and people return to their peaceful life. Here comes the end of parallel world pharmacy. The world has been better developed because of the existence of Pharma. Commoners are able to afford medicine, and the number of deaths from illness is greatly reduced. I believe Pharma will fulfill his dream of making the world disease-free one day. If you travel to another world, what can your professional abilities bring you? Money, power, beauty, or all of them? If you like this anime, please leave a continue in the comment area. I will choose a similar anime to recap based on your opinions. Thank you for watching. Remember to like this video to help my channel out. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Your support is what motivates me to keep updating my videos. Bye!